I'm Dan Chicksand. I'm a professor of operations and supply chain management at Birmingham University in the UK. And actually, I'm here really as a fan of RealGame because I use RealGame on lots of my programs, whether that's in the UK or in other places. And I wanted to kind of bring my, I suppose, practical experience of using business simulations to teach sustainable operations and supply chain management. I've been in a great position of teaching operations and supply chain management for the last sort of 20 odd years. And we all know that sustainability is a hot topic, whether that's at an operational level or the supply chain level. But how do we make it engaging and realistic? You know, we've all relied on, teaching some of the theoretical concepts such as like triple bottom line. And this is fine and it's a good starting point. But before I discovered RealGame, I found it quite difficult to kind of bring those to life. Yeah, to really show students the practical trade-offs that are inherent in managing operations as well as managing extended supply chains. And what we're going to try and show through the today's webinar, through showing you a RealGame simulation, is how you can actually use it as a way of teaching sustainability metrics and performance indicators. That's one of the key areas. So instead of doing what I would have done in the past and run a case, now you can actually get the students to look at and identify things like energy use, emissions, resource efficiency, and actually try and understand how these metrics align, or in some cases often conflict with other KPIs such as cost, lead time and profit. And that has been quite theoretical in the past, but now with the use of the simulation, what Timo's going to say, we can actually see that it's quite practical. The second one, which I kind of covered, is also trade-offs and decision making. When you're trying to make decisions around sustainability, I've got a group of MBA students and some MSc students at the moment playing. What they need to be able to think about is how being more sustainable might trade off against things like cost. And although in the short term, this might have a detrimental impact for maybe things like return on investment, it does over the long term maybe build closer relationships with their customers. And obviously if it's driven by customer need as well. And I think what the simulation also helps you do much more than I've been able to find in any type of case-based teaching is this idea of systems thinking and the interconnected nature of operations. Because you're getting teams to manage supply chains right from the procurement of raw material right through to the production of process to the delivery of products and services. You can see how it's the decisions made across all those different parts of the supply chain that can impact, in particular, our focus today on things like corporate social responsibility, CO2 levels and so on. And the last one is obviously in a world where we're driven by data, we need to, I think, get our students much more familiar with taking big data and using real-time analytics to make decisions. And what Timo will show through the RealGame's business intelligence is that behind the simulation is lots of data which students can then go into, have a look at and help them think about the decisions they're making.